Hey guys, what's good? I am a 15-year-old boy who likes reading and who has read hundreds of books. This is my rating on Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. Would I recommend reading this book? Should you read anything else before you read this? Watch this video to the end to find out. I was first introduced to this book when my uncle showed me the YouTube video with Brandon Sanderson and Mark Rober explaining the science behind it. And then during a road trip, he played only half the audiobook, forcing me to get the rest of the book for myself. Little bit of background. This book is the first of 4 secret novels that Brandon Sanderson wrote during the pandemic. This one was originally written as a gift for his wife, who told him that it should be published. Here's the synopsis. The only life Tress has known on her island home in an emerald green ocean has been a simple one, with the simple pleasures of collecting cups brought by sailors from faraway lands and listening to stories told by her friend Charlie. But when his father takes him on a voyage to find a bride and disaster strikes, Tress must stow away on a ship and seek the sorceress of the deadly midnight sea. Amid the spore oceans where pirates abound, can Tress leave her simple life behind and make her own place, sailing a sea where a single drop of water can mean instant death? Do you hear that? Me neither. Okay, so at first glance, the plot is basic. Love interest is in trouble and the protagonist goes on an adventure to save them. But you actually read the book and it's anything but basic. For example, a dangerous sea voyage with murderous pirates was too boring. So now the oceans are made of deadly seeds, and if you fall in, you die from spikes or vines coming out of your body. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. It's also a fantasy book, which means unless we're talking about the false prince, this book has magic in it. Frankly, I think this book is so clever. There are so many fantasy books, and how many of them can you name that have oceans that aren't made of water? Some books that are similar to this book are Peter Nimble and His Fantastic Eyes, Story Thieves, and, other books by Brandon Sanderson. So if you like Tress, you may like reading these books. And if you like these books, you might like reading this one. If I were to compare this book to a drink, based off how good it would be for you to read, on a scale of sippy cup to energy drink, sippy cup being for younger audiences and energy drink being for older ones, Tress of the Emerald Sea would probably fall somewhere in between juice box and soda for using mild swear words and violence. Nevertheless, when you feel ready, read this book. Okay, now here are the ratings. I'm rating Tress of the Emerald Sea in 5 categories. How funny is it? How cool it was to read. The characters and their personalities. How much of a page turn it was and how well it pulls the reader into the story. And Rock's Review, where I give my final rating overall based on how entertaining the book was and my personal opinion. When deciding the humor score, I called up my uncle who introduced me to this book. When we were talking about Tress of the Emerald Sea, he reminded me that the comedy was different from most books. Instead of being written just for a laugh, the books were more subtle and witty, making the reader think a little more. Honestly, this dry style of humor adds to the uniqueness of this book. With this in mind, the funny factor, 7 out of 10. This book is so chill. I really liked how the oceans were made of spores, like I mentioned earlier. There are 12 oceans in the story, and each of them is a different color made up of a different spore. These spores come from 12 different moons stationed around the planet. Brandon Sanderson, you leave me no choice. This book is getting a 10 out of 10 on the cool scale. The characters in this book are approved. You thought the main character's name was Tress, and it is, but it's actually her nickname. Her birth name, Glorf, is given a 2-second mention in the beginning of the book. Tress, like all the other characters, is very authentic and actually has personal struggles, unlike characters in other books, making her way more relatable and interesting throughout the book. So I'm going to have to rate characters a 7 out of 10. This book is part of Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere universe, which is like the MCU in the ways where the Cosmere is about a bunch of different people from different worlds who sometimes interact. For example, the narrator is someone named Hoyd, and there are several nods and references to other books in the universe. This book can still be read as a standalone, and still makes sense and is a good story. which leads to my next reading. Only half of this book was a page turner. And that's because I listened to the first half. It drove me crazy every time my uncle would pause the book to check the GPS or order food. And it was the same story when I got the physical version of the book a couple months later. I mean, who needs sleep? Brandon Sanderson actually has a YouTube video with Mark Rober where they prove the ocean in the book could actually work in real life. I watched this before I read/listened to the book. It's legit. I'll put the link in the description. Y'all might want to check it out. And finally, for Rock's review, I personally loved this book. I love the spores and the contraptions and inventions made with them. And can I just say, the plot twist near the end? I'm not going to tell you, but it was insane. Easily just as or more mind-blowing than the one in The False Prince. My only problems with the story were how there were supposedly 12 or 13 spores, but we never learned what they all did. Right? Like the emerald ones in the sea that she lives in. When they touch water, they explode into vines. And, right, there are other spores, and we're told some of what they do. But we don't get to learn all of them. And then my only other issue was that this book is a standalone. For Rock's reviews, this book is a 10 out of 10. Would recommend this book. Before I go, my last video currently has 2 comments. So, if you're chill, comment on this one. Comment books you like or books you want me to read. I read all my comments, and I'm always looking for other books to read and review. So comment, or I'm raising an army of house elves. Hey, if you like this video, please press that subscribe button for more videos like this. Maybe give it a thumbs up.